Hello and welcome to Let's Play Rastan Saga on the Sega Game Gear. Taito Corporation, 1991, all rights reserved. This game is almost identical to the Master System version, except the text is easier to read, and every item before you pick it up has a black border around it. I think they changed these things to make the game easier to see on the small Game Gear screen. Anyway, here's the story. Destiny. This is the tale of a barbarian who went against the tides of fate, who fought destiny with cold steel and won. And here's the demo. Now, if you remember my Castle of Illusion playthrough on the Game Gear, I commented that I believed that game was actually a Master System game put on a Game Gear cartridge, and my reasons for believing that were that when you load that game on the emulator, there's no Game Gear border like there is with other Game Gear games. That's what normally happens when you load a Game Gear game with Fusion emulator. That doesn't happen with Castle of Illusion. And also, everything looks really small, which is what happens when you load a Master System cartridge with the converter on a Game Gear, because Master System games were they were designed for a big screen, a TV screen, and when they're played on a small screen, everything looks really small. Games that were converted properly for the Game Gear, like Land of Illusion and Sonic 2 and things, they changed the resolution to make everything a bit bigger for the small Game Gear screen. That doesn't happen with Castle of Illusion, which led me to believe that that game is actually a Master System ROM released on a Game Gear cartridge. Now the reason why I'm saying that is because I think this game is as well. There's no Game Gear border and everything looks really small when you play it on a real Game Gear. Except this game was only released in Japan, and it's called Rastan Saga and not just Rastan. Yeah, it was only released in Japan, and I do own it, but it comes in a really small box and the writing's in Japanese, even though the game isn't in Japanese. But yeah, so I think this game is also really a Master System game put on a Game Gear cartridge, which sort of makes sense really, because it's almost identical to the Master System version, like Castle of Illusion is to its Master System counterpart. Other games that were properly converted for the Game Gear, like Sonic 2 and Land of Illusion, for example, they were a lot different. Not just the screen resolution. They made everything a bit bigger so that it would look better on the Game Gear, and also other parts of the game were altered as well. Level design was altered. On Castle of Illusion, there were only minor differences, like the colours of the chests. Like this one, there's only minor differences, like the text and the black border around the items. Yeah, so I think this is a Master System game put on a Game Gear cartridge, like Castle of Illusion. It's not actually possible to play Game Gear games on a Master System because the Master System doesn't have as many colours. So it's only possible to do that if you alter the game like Tectoy did with Legend of Illusion and Virtua Fighter Animation and things. Anyway, I did say at the end of my Bram Stoker's Dracula playthrough that I'd do Spyro the Dragon next. As that game is going to take a while, it's going to take a fair few videos. I thought I'd just do this first because I want to do this now, and it'll only take one video, so I thought I'd do this now. Yeah, so the game is identical, more or less, to the Master System version. They're exactly the same number of levels. There are 7 levels. Each level has an outside bit, an inside bit, and then a boss, except the last level, which is just 3 inside bits, and then a boss. The bosses are the same, the weapons are the same, the score is the same, the items are the same, and I'll talk about them along the way. Anyway, so let's play the game. Now that that's discussed, right, let's go. Okay, so at the moment we have the sword. Now that's a small medicine. That will recover 16% of your health and get a certain number of points back. I can't remember how many points though. Anyway, this is the sword. It has the weakest power and the shortest range. Now that's the mace. It's the same power as the sword, except it has longer range. And it gives you, I can't remember how many points it gives you, but it gives you some points. That was an item, I don't know what it was though, let's pause it. That was a necklace. The necklace will make your weapon last longer because they don't last very long. That water, every drop of water in this game is poisonous and it hurts you. The water is flashing there because it's actually a waterfall. Anyway, that's another medicine, that's another 16% health back. Large medicines will give you 32% health back. There are poisons as well. The small poison will give you 10,000 points, but it will make you lose 8% of your health. That's a large poison. That will make you lose 16% of your health, but give you 20,000 points, I think. So it's really good if you want points. You want to go down here first because that was I think that was a golden sheep. That will give you all your health back. That's an axe that has the maximum power, but the same range as the sword. So it's really good. And that also gives you points as well. I think like 3,000 or something. Like Ninja Gaiden, you can jump off walls and things. That's another golden sheep. In my opinion, this game is more generous with the golden sheeps than the Master System version. If you remember, in my Master System playthrough, I only found one golden sheep, and that was when I needed it, thank God. In this one, they seem to be more common. That's a fire sword. That gives you no points, but it has the longest range because it shoots fireballs, and it has the power of the axe, so it kills everything first time. The fireballs won't kill. They won't kill the fish though. What have I picked up? Oh yeah, that's a shield, by the way. That will give you. That will halve the damage done by fireballs and things. So it halves the damage done by them. There's also a cloak that will halve the damage done when you touch an enemy, and there's also armor, and that halves the damage done by fireballs and things and by touching enemies. So the armor is like a shield and a cloak combined. There's also a rod that will make your not make your armor or shield that'll make them last longer. So it makes the protector last longer. There's also a necklace that'll make your weapon last longer. There's also a ring. I wasn't specific enough in my Master System playthrough about what the ring does. I just said it doubles your points. It doesn't double your points that you have. So for example, I have 37,500 points. It doesn't double that. It doubles the points every time you do something that gives you points. Like if you pick up an item that gives you points, or if you kill an enemy or a boss. If you have the ring, when you do something that gives you points, it'll give you double what the points you normally get. So for example, if I get a small poison, that gives me 10,000 points. If I have the ring, it'll give me 20,000 points. And if I get the large poison, it'll give me 40,000 points instead of 20,000. So that's what the ring does. There's also a bit of paper or something, brown bit of paper, that doesn't give you any points, but it kills all the enemies on the screen. And coincidentally, it doesn't kill the enemies that the fire sword won't kill. So the fire sword won't kill the fish. The bit of paper won't kill the fish as well, which is a coincidence. They must be related somehow. Yeah, so that's all the weapons and all the things explained. So and the golden sheep. Yeah, so in my opinion, in this version of the game, they're more generous with the golden sheep, because in Master System version, I only got a golden sheep when I needed it, which is really lucky actually. Yeah, I think that was in the 6th level I got it. So yeah, so they're more common in my opinion in this game. Anyway, let's go. Anyway, if you hang around for too long, eventually it goes dark, and then when it goes properly dark after another period of time, that's when the bats come, I think. It's harder to see. Anyway, go in here. Right, here's the first inside bit. There is a mace in this level, and I didn't get it in the Master System version, and because of that I'm going to get it in this version just to show you. So you can get it if you want. There's another shield. Yeah, the mace is actually over here. So the shield and the armor, they'll actually halve the damage done by projectiles and things. There we go. There's the mace. That's a gem. Yeah. Every item has a black border around it, including the gems, which is a bit weird. But, inside the boss room, your health will slowly go down because of poison gas, so you have to get the boss quickly. Here's the first boss. It's called the Kentorus. Its health bar is on the right. You just have to do this to it. If you get a down thrust or an up thrust, that gets more damage away than a normal hit. And also, if you're moving while you hit, so if you jump to the right and move and hit, that gets more damage as well than if you're standing still and hit. So always try to get an up thrust or a down thrust or a moving hit, and you'll do more damage. Although it doesn't matter if you have the axe or fire sword because it always does maximum damage anyway. But if you have the mace or the sword, then always try to get an up thrust. Anyway, that's a praying mantis or something. There's an axe. That's nice. Hate these things. No, just ignore it. Right, there's a fire sword in here, which is really awkward to get. I'll try to get it. Yeah, they're the fish. The fire sword. The fireballs from the fire sword won't hurt them, and the bit of paper won't either. But if you hit them normally with the fire sword, then they do die. But the fireballs the fire sword shoots doesn't actually kill them for some reason. That's a cloak that will halve the damage done by touching an enemy. Anyway, try to get up here. It's pretty annoying. It seems to be harder on this version than it was on the Master System version. Nope. I'll manage, don't worry. I'll manage. It's pretty awkward though. Come on. No, the axe is gone. You have to do a big jump and then jump again. It's extremely irritating. Come on. Absolutely painful this is, it really is. It's just, why would they put this in the game? Okay, big jump, and then hit to get it, that's it, that's how you do it. Yeah, it seems to be harder on this version than it was on the Master System version. I seem to do it on the Master System version really easily. On this version it takes me ages. The next boss is called the Slayer. He's pretty easy. Yeah, try to get out of the water as quickly as possible because it tends to hurt for some reason. All the water in this land is poisonous. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the plot of the game. There's a princess who's been kidnapped by a dragon, and as a barbarian goes to rescue her. That's it. Oh good, got my health back. Yeah, so it's gone dark because I hung around a bit. There we go. Okay, to get the mace without getting hurt, you do this. 2 small jumps and then a big jump, that's it. And then you won't get hurt. You don't really need the mace, but I'll get it anyway because I don't really need the fire sword because there's an axe coming up anyway. And the fire sword will run out. Okay, do a down thrust. These enemies are called sword things or mace things or axe things. The axe things throw their axes. And they take 3 hits normally from the sword or mace. But if you can do a down thrust or you have the axe or the fire sword, they only take 1. So that's really good. So always try to get a down thrust if you don't have the axe or fire sword. That's a ring. That'll double the points now. So everything I get now will be worth double points. I try to keep the axe for the boss. It makes the boss a little bit easier. Although the boss is still pretty easy in my opinion. There's a shield. It's all random, the items you get. They're all random. Don't try and hang around to get a better item. Just go. There we go. So this is the Slayer. He's pretty easy. There we go. He's gone. There's nothing else in the room. But the longer you stay in there, the more health you will lose because it goes down slowly. Because the manual describes that there's poison gas in there, so you have to hurry up. So you can't just hang around. I think that's a harpy, that enemy, that flying enemy. Yeah, so it gives me an excuse to play through this great game again. That's a skeleton. That normally takes 3 hits unless you can get a down thrust or you have a better weapon. That's it. You see how that normally takes 2 hits, but because I was moving forward while hitting, it only took 1 hit. No, forget it. It's not worth going back, I'll probably get hurt. The enemies never stop coming, and they are random, but there are certain numbers of enemies, there are certain types of enemies that will keep coming during the level. So in this level, you'll get loads of those harpies and things. and they'll keep coming, but they're random where they appear and how often they appear. It's sort of half randomised, but the type of enemy you get is actually fixed. Anyway, get the fire sword. Yeah, the bees and the bats, especially the bats, are really annoying. They are extremely irritating. Go away. Oh, good. Bats come later on in the game, but if you wait for it to get dark, then bats will appear early, so that's another reason why you want to hurry up. Okay, see if I can do this without getting hurt. Yes, good. You can wait if you want, but that's only for pansies. The manly way is to do it really quickly. Okay, quickly. Ah, got me. Yeah, they're annoying, those things. Sometimes there's a wizard here. Now the wizard will chuck a scroll at you. If you touch the scroll, then you lose your weapon and your armor or shield. It won't actually hurt you, but you'll lose it. You'll lose those items immediately. But if you touch him, you get hurt as normal. But that's what happens if you touch the scroll. So wait for the scroll to go. Otherwise, you'll lose your sword or your cloak or something. If you have one. Okay, this is the third boss. This one's called the Shukamus or something. I don't really know how to pronounce it. On the arcade game, this one's really difficult, but on the Master System or Game Gear versions, all you have to do is this. I don't know if this is a glitch or what, but this is all you have to do. You can just sort of get some cheap hits in like that, and it makes it really easy. And again, you can try to do a down thrust, but there's no point because you can just get him like this. There we go, and he's done. But that boss on the arcade version is really, really difficult. Trust me. Okay, here's the fourth level. I like this place. It's like a crystal palace or something. Or marble palace or something. That's a Medusa, or the Medusa. She sort of, just sort of tries to hurt you as normal. Anyway, just get out of here. Okay, there's a weapon there. You have to get it quickly. Do that. Yes, just got it. That's how you get. That's how you get the mace there. It can be pretty awkward to get though. If you didn't get it, if you go away and then come back, the platform might reappear and you can have another go at getting it. But it's not really worth it because it's only a mace. So if you don't get it first time, I'd recommend just sort of not bothering really. If I hadn't gotten it, I probably would have gone back just to show you, but it's not really worth it. There's another Medusa, although there's only really one Medusa because there's only because she's a type of Gorgon. Okay, there's a fire sword here. There's a secret platform. If you do a big jump, there's the platform. Do a big jump, then a small jump to get back on the platform. Then some bees always appear. Then do a big jump to leave. That's it. Oh, good health. Big jump, that's it. You have to go for it. No, I missed it. Yeah, it's pretty awkward to get on that rope. That's it, lovely. Okay, just wait for the platform. It's coming, don't worry. Okay, in the next level, you have to do a wall jump. Yeah, this is where you need the wall jump. If you don't do the wall jump, then you can't progress through the game, so you have to learn how to do it. It's pretty simple to do, though. First of all, though, there's an axe. So make sure you get the axe. That's it, lovely. Okay, now this is where you have to do the wall jump. Ah, got me. The boss of this level is called Arius, and he's really easy if you do... I don't know if they meant this to happen, but there's a little glitch you can do. Not really a glitch, but it sort of makes it easy. Make sure you grab the bottom of that rope, otherwise you won't be able to make that jump. And be careful of the wizard, because he might take your weapon away. Sometimes that wizard isn't there, but most of the time he is. Yeah, that's an axe thing. They're pretty annoying. That's a crushing ceiling, by the way. I think that might be instant death, I can't remember, but it's best just to avoid it. I don't know if it is instant death. It certainly takes a large amount of health off. So be very careful about it. Right, another wizard. You missed. Oh, I knew that would happen. Right, big jump. That's it, good. That's supposed to be mud, by the way. Anyway, the really cheap way of getting this boss is just to let it hit once, and then just sort of he will sort of retreat to the corner, and then he's there, and that's it. And you can just get him until he dies, even with the sword. But I'll show you what he normally does. He normally jumps into the air. Come on, jump into the air. No, he's being annoying. Come on. There we go. And then he shoots. Come on. That's it. Yeah, that's what he's supposed to do. But you can get him that really cheap way. I mean, you know. And then I can get him again the cheap way. I mean, they make it too easy, really. And that's it. I mean, he almost wants to be gotten really cheaply. Anyway, on to the next level. The next boss is called the Fedorak. He's like a dragon thing, and he's actually quite tricky in my opinion. I love the mountains in the background. Really nice graphics. Anyway, I can just imagine being there. That always gives you an item. Always. It's really annoying because you can never reach it. Oh, I could reach it then, but sometimes you can't reach that. Don't you dare. Anyway, there's a mace down there. The mantises, by the way, they will chuck little bits at you. If they chuck it down, you can hit, and then they will, and it sort of gets rid of them. But it's easier just to jump over them, really. That's supposed to be lava, I think, but I always think it looks like custard. Which in my opinion is pretty poisonous anyway, because custard is disgusting. Anyway, there's an axe there, but make sure you jump off that quickly. That's it. That's it, lovely. Okay, avoid the boulders, that's it. Go away. Oh, he's coming. I think there's another axe over here, yeah. Big jump. And there's another one. And then drop down. That's it. And there's a cloak, lovely. And that's the end of that. Good. Oh good, I have loads of health, right. Yeah, this is the first really difficult inside bit. From now on, they're not inside castles, they're inside a cave. Well, in the next two levels anyway. The last level, they're inside a castle again, I think. Oh no, wait a minute. One's inside a castle, one's inside a cave. Oh, I can't remember. Anyway. Try not to lose too much health because you need it for the boss. Okay, get the mace. That's it, and then go down. Yeah, if you want to get a weapon, you have to touch your weapon to it. Not touch your body. If you want to pick up it... in order to pick up the other items, you have to touch your body to them. But if you want to pick up a weapon, you have to touch the weapon to them. That's the awkward thing. Let's get that thing. Oh, good armour. Need it. Yeah, give me the armour. Good. Okay, let's get out of here. Get out. Now, let's just go. Go, go, go. Okay, here's the boss. Okay, now, the way to get this one is try to get a down thrust in him. No, it missed him. He will shoot at you, but it doesn't really matter. There we... Oh no, it didn't work. There we go. Good, got him again. Just keep trying to get him. And duck, that's it, and down thrust. Another one. Just try to get him as quickly as possible because your health is going down. That's it, one more. There we go, he's finished. Good. Yeah, that's the first pretty tricky boss in this game. You have to hurry up. That's why I recommend going up to him with a decent amount of health. If you have too little health, he'll become too difficult, and you'll have to lose a continue. There's an axe, lovely. Lovely. Okay, I think there'll be bats in this one. I think this is the first proper appearance of the bats. Oh, good. Shield. If you get a shield, that will replace the... Yeah, here's a bat. That will replace the armour or the cloak that you had before, so only get the shield if you really need it. But it's always worth picking them up because they don't last very long anyway. Yes, the bats are extremely irritating, as you just saw. Just try to run away from them, really. No, he's in league with the wall. Oh good, a ring. Okay, just drop down here because there's a flame pit. There's a flame pit that in which you don't want to fall. Oh, I hate those things. Yes, go away. Oh good. Alright, stand about there and then do a jump. That's it. Otherwise you'll fall in the pit. You'll have to jump too far. Because the only way to do a big jump is to jump really far as well. There's a fire sword in there. Yeah, the only way to do a long jump is to do a high jump. So you might jump in the pit. Go away. Right. Just drop down again. That's it. And then jump over the pit. Oh no. Thank you. Quick. Oh no. Yes, phew. Now, it isn't essential, but it makes the boss a lot easier if you have the fire sword. There'll be another fire sword in this level, and it makes the boss a lot easier if you have the fire sword. If you don't have the... Oh yeah, see that's what happens when the wizard gets you. See, it got rid of my fire sword. But unfortunately, with the other fire sword, or rather near the other fire sword, there are some wizards. I don't know why there's medicine there. And you might lose it, but it's not essential to have the fire sword for the boss. It just makes it a lot easier, but it makes the boss a lot more difficult if you don't have the fire sword. If you know what I mean. There's a rod, lovely. Okay, get that. Right, now quickly go, because we don't want the fire sword to run out. Go away. Uh-oh. Okay, duck underneath, wait for it to go. That's it, and then go. You don't want to lose the fire sword because you need it for the boss. Now quickly go to the boss as fast as you can. Don't hang around because you need the fire sword. That's it, just go. That's it. Yeah, because the fire sword will take a much bigger load of his health off than the normal sword. It only takes a tiny bit with the normal sword. And this boss can be quite tricky if you don't know what you're doing. That's it, lovely. Have another. And another. And you're dead. Yeah, so that will be a lot harder with the normal sword because it doesn't take as much health off. But it is possible to do without it. It's just easy with the fire sword. But just be careful of those wizards. They can be irritating. Okay, here's the last one. Now, these levels will loop around. If you keep going right, you'll eventually lead back to where you were. So you have to find the exit another way. Now, there's no weapons or anything in this level, so just hurry up. Just go. That's it. Oh, good. Big jump. That's it. Big jump. And go. Okay, that's the first one. There are two more. Okay, when you go down there, just go back up again because it's easier this way. Trust me. Ignore the enemies to the to the right rather, and then go on this platform across this yellow lava. And the fire sword is gone. I've lost my fire sword and some health as well. And there's the door. That's all you need to do. Okay, to go on this one, just keep going right first of all. Get on the platform. Yeah, because these levels will loop around. They will loop around, so if you keep going right or left, you'll eventually lead back to where you started. Go down here, and then go right. There's a couple of mace things and sword things. That's what they're called. They're actually called mace things and sword things. Don't go up there. That just leads back to where you were. You want to go this way. Get there. Ah, that thing's going to hurt me. Oh no, poison. You don't want that. You need the health of the boss, really. Okay, that's it. If you fall down there, you can get back up to the left. I'll show you. Don't worry about it. You just make it like that, so it doesn't matter. You don't have to go all the way back. When I first did that, I thought I had to go all the way back, and I did. But you can just make that every time. It looks really silly. And here's the boss. He's like the Fedorak. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the last boss is called the sixth boss is called the Reed Dragon, by the way. This boss is called the Question Mark Dragon because it doesn't have a name in the boss because it sort of gives you a surprise. There's no picture of it, it's just a question mark. So this is the last boss. He's a lot like the Fedorak, except slightly harder, I think. And he sort of moves a bit faster. There we go. And now your aim is to try to get him without losing health, like that. There we go, beautiful. Yeah, so the sixth boss, the one I used the fire sword on, that's actually called the Reed Dragon. It's unlike the other bosses because he doesn't sort of move around, only his head moves, a bit like the dragon on Captain Silver. Anyway, yeah, I'm doing really well. If he does shoot, you can make the fireballs disappear by making them go off screen. Just by running away from them. Beautiful, that was a beautiful one. Come on. And he sometimes squeaks as well, which is something the Feather Act does as well. Yeah, so I'll make them go off. Well, when they go off screen, then they're gone. He's nearly finished. Ow. No, missed him. Come on. Missed him again. Best not to get him when he's running away. There we go, and that's that. Pretty easy. Well, after I've done it about a million times. Anyway, here's the story. I'll try to read it out. After I had safely escorted the princess to the country of Chamois, King was very pleased and gave me many treasures. There's the princess. There she is, very pretty. Not only that, but the king wanted me to marry the princess and someday sit upon the king's throne. I loved her, and I think she loved me too. However, she was not the person to be the wife of a thief like me. It's sort of depressing. I slipped quietly away from the country of Chamois. Another aimless journey had begun. After all, I was a born wanderer. The adventure I had this time was an ordeal for me. When I had overcome this ordeal, I got rid of my thief's mind. I have no idea what kind of adventure fate was for me in the future. Or rather, fate has for me in the future. There we go. I couldn't read that properly. I think I have dyslexia. However, I will always overcome it, and shall promise that I will tell you about my new adventure. Yeah, the W's look like H's, and vice versa. This ends one of the stories of the Rastan. And he's gone forever. Okay, and here are the credits. Yeah, so that was Rastan on the Game Gear, identical to the Master System version. Wow, there's a person actually called Emperor. That's almost like naming your child God. Anyway, yeah, so yeah, that was Rastan on the Game Gear. Only released in Japan, but everything is in English. Yeah. I don't know why I didn't get a European or American release. The sort of game that should have done, really. I mean, the Master System had a release, so I don't know why this one didn't. But yeah, so next video will definitely be Spyro the Dragon on the PlayStation. Look forward to that one. And then, of course, Chuck Rock on the Master System. I mean, I only did this because I like playing Rastan so much, so I thought it'd give me an excuse to play it again. But, you know, if you played the Master System 1 and you played the Game Gear 1 and vice versa, there's no difference in skill at all. The only differences are the text and the black borders around the items. It's exactly this. It's like the Castle of Illusion Game Gear and Master System versions. Exactly the same. Land of Illusion is different. It's slightly different. The level of design is a bit different. As is Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and Sonic the Hedgehog 1. More or less, they're identical. They're more or less identical, but there are slight differences, which sort of justifies playing them, I think. And this one's called Rastan Saga instead of just Rastan. There is a Rastan Saga 2 on the Mega Drive, only in Japan, which I don't really like. I've played it, I don't really like it. You know, it's like the arcade game. It's really difficult. I keep dying really easily. It's like impossible to avoid the enemies. Anyway, even though I said that the Golden Sheep is more common in the Game Gear version, in this game is when I played it, of course, there were hardly any of them. But you have to trust me. In my experience, I tend to find more of them. Anyways, that was Rastan. Thank you for watching. Next video will be Spyro the Dragon on the PlayStation. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.